Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining for our subject webinar in studying MBA in Germany. My name is Georgi, and I will be today the co-host / co-moderator of today's webinar. So I will be mostly behind the scenes, trying to collect some interesting questions from your side and to later address these questions to our speakers, because towards the end we'll have a short live Q&A session. But before that, of course, you can already send in your questions. You can see the Q&A button in the bottom part of your Zoom interface, which is always open, and you can, by always, I mean throughout the webinar, and you can send in your questions already, starting from now. So we have several guests today. We have 3 programs that will be presented today. So in order to quickly move to this most interesting part, let me already introduce to you, dear friends, our agenda. So let me jump into that. Again, the topic is studying MBA in Germany, as you may already know. And our agenda for today is that we have guests from Ludwigshafen University of Business and Society, actually 2 guests, Eva Nefen, joining together with a student perspective as well, Ayesha. So it will be really interesting to hear from her as well. Also, we have from Dresden International University, Laura Bifut, who will be presenting MBA Logistics. By the way, from Ludwigshafen, we'll have MBA International Business and Management. And then we will move to Hochschule Bonn-Rhein-Sieg, to Mr. Max Bolz, and who will present MBA in Corporate Social Responsibility and Non-Governmental Organizations Management. All right, so this is our agenda, our lineup for today, and let us move to the first speaker, and let us move to Baden-Württemberg, to Ludwigshafen University of Business and Society, and I would like to invite our guests to take the floor. I will stop sharing this screen, but I will start sharing another one very soon. Just a second, and you can already start over, by the way.
Perfect. So thank you very much for being here. And I would love to present our MBA in International Business Management at Ludwigshafen University of Business and Society. So today I will tell a little bit about the top 10, why you definitely have to go with our MBA program. So first of all, of course, we are a state university. So that means you will have a MBA degree from a state university, and this course is also based the student status is like a regular full-time consecutive master student. So you will receive everything what all our full-time students also receive. Okay, that was number 1. Course number 2, our program is accredited. So we are a state university, and all programs have to do this process. We just received the re-accreditations until 2028. And this program is a completely 100% English-speaking program. So, of course, all applicants must hand in also a proof of the English language, which should be at least level B2, to have, of course, this knowledge. By the way, you don't have to have any German language knowledge, because you don't need to travel to Ludwigshafen, so you stay where you are and can do everything online. So there's no need for German language knowledge. Okay, point 4 is the program consists of 4 semesters, which are individually also flexible in terms of time. So that means that we provide every module each semester. And if you don't have the time to do it like the schedule is or the curriculum, then we can swap with really no problem 1 or 2 modules into the next semester, to keep it flexible. We do the admission twice a year. So the application for the winter semester started already, and the semester will start in end of September, beginning of October, and the admission is until June. Okay, next slide. It is 100% online. So I mentioned it already. Everything is online, including the sessions, the exams, the dissertation of your master thesis. You will have a virtual library with all the things you need for your study. Also, we will have at least at the end, the possibility to meet really on site at the graduation night. So that is the only time we will see really in person. Everything else is online, and this is because we have students from all over the world. Point 6. One-to-one supervision. So students are not a number at our university. We've got small groups, around 15 to 20 students plus our double degree students. So there's an intense practical relevance. You can see it. It's just a screenshot of one of our sessions. This is a strategic management session, and students are always live interacting with our profs because the sessions are live. You can see the red button. It's always recorded, so students have the possibility to listen to the sessions afterwards. Okay, next slide, please. Number 8, international lecturers. Of course, we don't have just international students in our programs, but also international lecturers from all over the world. You can see on the left-hand side, Hamad, who is a professor from the University in Cairo, Egypt. And this is just, presentation of the students, which they are doing always in the session marketing. And on the right side, there are just my actual students. They are in their 3rd semester at the moment. And we've got 9 modules in our MBA program. So like scientific work in the 1st semester, or logistics, marketing. We've got also social competency module with ethics, rhetoric, and creativity. HR is included, management with business simulation games, strategic management, controlling, and international competencies in the 3rd semester, also optional compulsory modules. I hope you can hear me still. Yeah, okay. So the last point why you need to join is our network and exploration trips. So we used to do it quite often before the pandemic. So last one was China to 18. And now we are really, really glad that we can just do it again, visit Scandinavia, our cooperation university in Finland, have a campus tour, visit some some companies around. We'll go also to Copenhagen, Sweden as well. So we will do a round trip through Scandinavia with our students. Really looking forward to this next month. So really, really happy to do that again. And we've got a 10 plus, so like an add-on. You have got the double degree options. So we've got few double degrees, for example, with Morocco, Sarajevo, or Kosovo, and also with Finland. And we just signed the contract last year. So our students have the possibility to get another MBA degree from our cooperation university. So if it was too quick for you, just summarize everything in 1 minute. Just have the overview of our top 10. Thank you. Next slide. And I'm really, really so glad that one of my students is here today to give you a little bit, the student view. I think it's really, really important. And I would love to introduce Ayesha. Ayesha, please introduce yourself. Tell everybody how great you are, and maybe just by answering the frequently asked questions over there.
Sure. Happy to be here. Happy to join you all as a present student with Ludwigshafen. Just to give a brief background about myself, I'm Ayesha Khan. I have 4 kids, full-time mother. I'm working full-time, as well as started doing joined this program in 2020. So basically, I am in my last thesis semester. So my sessions, like if I start with the first question, it's like, what do the sessions look like? Sessions in general, they're like online sessions, and we have like on Fridays evenings and Saturday mornings, which makes it very flexible for someone like me who is working full time, as well as have other priorities like family and kids. So it is manageable to do on Friday evenings and Saturday mornings. And that was like, for me, if I talk only about me, I've been looking for a very long time for a program which was flexible in this way that I don't have to attend any presence lectures or any, it was not a requirement to go anywhere. And Ludwigshafen in this way was the perfect choice. Apart from every plus points, this was for me as a working mother, was the plus point that I can study and continue my education sitting at home and joining the lectures online. How many hours of time I invest? Normally, it's like, it depends with every individual. For me, I invest my weekends in studying because that's the most flexible way for me. But I would suggest that generally, as an average of 6 to 8 hours, it's, according to me, is good time limit you can give per week. It was when I joined and how I have been working, there have been weeks when I was not able to study, and when there were weekends when I invested fully. But in my opinion, if somebody wants to invest time, weekly 6 to 8 hours is like good time limit. Like, the program allows us all the flexibility is so that there is no hush and rush sort of a feeling that, okay, you have to do things and finish it off and ignore your other priorities, because being a working woman, I have my job priorities, which I do not want to ignore or that they are neglected in any ways. Therefore, for me, weekends were the suitable, and the flexibility was given to me by this program, by this university. In general, it is like we have, as mentioned earlier, we have lectures on Friday evenings and Saturday mornings, and the supervision and organization, if we have been lucky enough that we have a really good program administrator, who is always available, who is you can just message her, WhatsApp her. We have groups, we can message her individually in her separate window, and she's always there for you. Even if she's not able to reply about something, she would say, I would come back to you, I would call you about this. The professors, they are very competent. I feel myself privileged that I've been able to, professors like Professor Bush and the Professor Sharma, marketing professor, and the other professors. They are super. They are they make you, I joined MBA program. I did to be very honest, bachelor's a very long time back in economics and journalism. And it was starting MBA was starting from scratch now. So, but the professor made sure that the students, irrelevant from which background they are coming and which educational history they have, that they understand all the concept, and they are in this 2 years time, they are fully prepared for their final master thesis and their field, whatever they want to specialize in this particular. So it's 5 plus 10 plus points for organization and supervision. Coming to question 4, exams. It was different in such way, for first semester, if I haven't forgotten anything, if please add me in. But for the first semester, we had 3 like marketing, scientific work, and then there was ethics. Like for some, like we had to submit our seminar paper, but I believe that there was an ample time, 6 months time. Like by the end of the submission was by the end of the semester, so students have enough time to write the papers and submit. Again, there was no rush to submit with the short deadlines. And then there was like for the subjects like ethics, we have an oral exam, and that was also very, like, the professor made sure that we are well prepared. And anybody who has listened the lectures live or maybe after recorded, because the lectures are also being recorded for those, there are others also who are like working side by side, full-time working or doing jobs. So if they are not able to join the lecture on some particular day, they can listen them afterwards and prepare well. So as mentioned, the exams were generally paper submission or oral exam. For social competencies, we had oral exam, and for these subjects like scientific work, HR, or marketing, we had to write the papers. Every semester is different in the way that, like, as I remember that in the first semesters, we had like almost every weekend we had lectures, and the lecture is 3-hour lecture on Friday and 3-hour on Saturday. So it was basically 1.5 hour and then half-hour break, and then again 1.5 hour lecture. Similarly, on Saturday, the same pattern was carried out, but it was Saturdays, it's always in the morning, and Fridays in the evening. So very flexible and manageable. Even if you're working, somebody is working full time, you don't need to neglect any of your work priorities or anything else. Then if I have like, as mentioned, the supervision organization was also good. Exams, I have explained, it's mainly papers or submission of papers or oral exams. And the last year, as Eva mentioned in her like introduction, we had the university had a partnership with SAMK University, Finland, which provided us the opportunity to, by doing an extra semester, to get the SAMK Finland degree, which is also an extra MBA degree in management and entrepreneurship. And I had the opportunity to be part of it. I am in that program as well. So there I am. It's also a very good organized program with the partnership of Ludwigshafen. And it's like, in this way, I will be attending one more semester with the Finnish University starting this September or August, September sometime. And by the end of year, that semester will be over. And basically, after 5 semesters in total, I would be getting my double degree, a degree from Ludwigshafen, German University, and SAMK University. In short, or to summarize everything, for me, this program has, I have not regretted for a single moment that why I joined this program. It is my honest opinion, not that if I sitting here or anybody is sitting, that I have also given every time, because flexibility, language, English language, because my background is like, I have been throughout my life, my language or the instruction mode which I have been receiving, it was English. And for me, it was very important to find some program which is purely English. So English language, flexibility which it gives, the availability of professors and the administrator, like Eva being the administrator. It is the best investment anybody could do for his or her future. We all expect or find reasons if we are not progressing in our work life, okay. But I think this is something which we as an individual can invest, and looking into keeping in consideration that, okay, this would help us to further develop with our wherever we are working. And so, as mentioned, it's the perfect choice anybody could go for. And if I being a mother of 4 kids, like I have 4 kids and all of different ages, and like starting from the 17 years old to coming to the last 9 months old, if who joined us last year recently. If I can do that, so I believe everybody can do that. It's only the matter of willpower, how you are trying to prioritize things and what is important for me. Yes, in my schedule or according to my routine, my weekends are mostly busy because I don't. But for me, it is like mostly I'm studying on weekends. So time slots when my kids are also studying and I'm also studying. So we have this like time slot when we are all working, and maybe I was some sort of, you can say, okay, the social life or socializing, but I know this is temporary, and by the time I'm done with my degree, so everything will be back to its origin. I will be having more time to enjoy things, and but this is something which for me, it's the best investment of my life. I would say that I'm investing in my education and my development, and yeah, that's it. I would like to add, and yeah, any questions are more than welcome.
You, Ayesha, thanks a lot. So the last slide, I think we're running out of time. If you have any other or further questions, please let me know. Just write me a mail and we will schedule an individual e-meeting time slot. So you're more than welcome to write me or call me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Ayesha, for these wonderful perspectives. Both sides, it's really important always for students to know the both sides of the coin. So thank you very much. And Ayesha, I was really impressed when you said that you are able to do this all with 4 kids. It's amazing. So congratulations. And it must be really flexible, as if you can manage it, it's really
just flexible. Adding to that, like as I mentioned, that it's like priorities, that you set your priorities. Yeah.
Sure.
And
sure.
I very strongly believe, like we all have heard, okay, where there is a will, there is a way, na? But I think all of us know that, but it's only that, okay, who actually act accordingly. Often people just avoid doing things because they think that this might be difficult, but I think if you won't try, it will remain difficult. You need to try things out. For me, in my business schedule, I mean, I am working full time. I'm based in Germany. I'm working full time. Last year, as mentioned, I was on a normal maternity leave, nothing extra. I didn't take extra, etc. And I finished my submitted my second semester papers. Although I had the opportunity, it's like flexibility gave me like the program IFA, and they were like, I had the opportunity to take a break in between and everything. But I am it's my view that, in my opinion, everything is part of life. Having babies or like family life, you just need to prioritize it properly, and sometimes you have to compromise on those things, extras, which you can always do now. So for socializing is something extra for me. I mean, it could be priority for someone else, but for me, so I think if I spend weekends 4 or 5 hours for studying, that's good enough for me. And like, socialize you can always do that. It's not something.
Great. Good to know. Thanks for sharing this. Thank you very much. And the questions are already coming, and Eva was doing a great job already answering some of them. And now I will switch to our next speaker, next guest. So it will be now Max Bolz from Hochschule Bonn-Rhein-Sieg. And he will be talking about MBA, corporate social responsibility, and non-governmental organizations management. And we are now more into a bit to the north and to the western part of Germany. Let me stop sharing the screen and invite Max to the floor.
Hi, my name is Max. I'm one of the 2 coordinators of the MBA in CSR and NGO management. For those of you who don't know what CSR and NGO stands for, it's corporate social responsibility and non-governmental organization. So we got a little twist. The Hochschule Bonn-Rhein-Sieg is rather young. I don't know if you are history buffs, but Bonn, which is roughly where we are located, used to be the capital of Western Germany. And then after reunification, everything moved to Berlin. And that kind of left a little gap of something here in this region, and so voila, they created this lovely University of Applied Sciences because there's already a huge university in Bonn and another university in Cologne, and the University of Applied Sciences is kind of like something in between, which should bridge the gap between the ivory tower of universities and the real world, so to speak. So it's very practical in its approach of teaching. Founded 1995 and roughly 10,000 students now. This is one of our campuses because we have, nowadays only 2. We used to have 3, but this one in Rheinbach flooded last year, unfortunately, during this horrendous flooding in the late summer, and it's currently rebuilt. However, we, covered all our bases and got some new, locations. And there's the St. Augustine campus you saw in the previous picture. And Bonn, as I said before, used to be the capital of Western Germany. Then when everything moved out, except 5 federal ministries here, still here, the United Nations moved in. So that made Bonn, or it continued to, that Bonn is a rather international city, even though it's in international comparison a rather small city of like 300,000, yet super international. So when you sit on a subway, you hear a bajillion languages, and that's very stimulating. Couple words about our MBA program. Kind of like your standard MBA program when it comes to the MBA part, but as I already mentioned, the special focus is on CSR and NGO management. We are, a kind of young-ish program, now a bit over 10 years, and very international, as you can see. We almost 90% internationals, and we're also very small and exclusive, what you can see with the graduates. We're also, of course, accredited by ACVAS. And why did we even do this? Why did we take an MBA and, did this little extra thing of CSR and NGO management? Well, my very short explanation always is, for the Star Wars fans out there, is that we take the power of the dark side and fight for the light side. Because stereotypically speaking, management, finances, all that stuff sometimes feels a bit shady, and that also might then be one of the reasons why people who are a little bit more altruistic can forget about these things. But in the end, it really doesn't matter whether or not you want to sell goods, want to sell shoes or burgers, or if you want to save the world. Whenever people meet, start an organization, a business, whatever, you need HR skills, you need finance skills. So a lot of the stuff you need also for an NGO can be found and can be taught in an MBA. And this is why we thought it's an amazing idea to combine those two. Plus, it really, sustainable development goals. I mentioned the UN being here in Bonn. It's getting more and more to the forefront, and the barriers of appreciating that sustainability is not like a fringe thing anymore, but it's really something we do need desperately, is sinking in to the brains and minds of people. So but nevertheless, our MBA program is pretty unique. There is a very young MBA with the sustainability thing. But then the next one in our area would be in the Netherlands, actually, over the border. But other than that, we are kind of unique. And who do we want to invite? it's a very international group, and as I said, like almost 90% are internationals, and you need a little bit of professional background, of course, yeah. And there are always kind of two kind of people who apply here. People who have, let's say, financial background, but now are somewhere in the middle of their career and think about, maybe I should do something more altruistic, something that benefits not only my bank account, but also society. So how can I take the skills I already have and update them and hone a new skill, but while utilizing what I already know? Or there are those who are already working in, let's say, an NGO. They gathered more and more responsibility, and suddenly they have to do stuff they have never been educated in, such as HR management or controlling, what have you. And those people are also then applying to our program. And those are so far all the countries of origin. So if there are any French or Spanish or Portuguese people, that's like whole of Western Europe for some reason, not that well represented so far. It's even with our, let's say, altruistic twist, it's only a slight majority of people with a background in humanities and social science. So we also got finance guys and stuff like that in our classrooms. As I already said, we are not a university, but the University of Applied Sciences. Really doesn't matter that much when it comes to your degree. It's a degree, and you can move on to get your doctorate if you want to. But the twist is more in the curriculum and the approach. So we are not necessarily on this ivory tower, let's talk about theories, which of course we do because you need theories, but then there very quickly comes a point where we want to see how can you implement that? Like, is it feasible in the real world? La, la, la. And this is kind of, in a very tiny nutshell, the difference between a University of Applied Sciences and an old standard university. We are also very module-based, meaning we had one topic and couple of seminars for that topic, and then each module has then one exam or paper as a final exam. And our lecturers, they are also almost in the middle, 50-50 practitioners and traditional university professors. So we got the best from both worlds. We are 90 ECTS MBA program. The practical term thing, that's a thing because it's an extra thing, because when you come here with a non-EU bachelor degree, and then the, let's say, conversion rate of your credit points to the European credit system doesn't match, that in the end, together with our 90 points, you have this threshold of 300 ECTS, which you need when you get an MBA or a master's in general. Then you do an additional thing for those 30 credit points. But in the end, it is manageable. The regular study time should be 3 semesters. However, as Ayesha already said, it's kind of hard to study because our lectures also taking place Fridays and Saturdays, because all our people work during the week. And when you're working and you also have to prepare for the classes, and then Fridays, Saturdays, you have those classes, then you kind of have to debrief, maybe discuss a little with your fellow students. And then you also have, God forbid, a social life. It's a lot to squeeze into your schedule. So there's an option of going a little slower, spreading it out a little to 5 semesters. That's our curriculum. As I mentioned, So basically what you can see here, every module, basics of CSR management and general management 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are all things you do, and per module you write one exam. And as you can see, in the first semester is more about you can see the indications here on the right side if it's not too tiny. But in the first, it's like a pyramid, our curriculum. In the first semester, it's general management, and the idea is to get everyone on a level playing field. You know, you have people from different nationalities, different systems of education. Even the time from the last graduation differs. Yeah, so people kind of also have to learn how to learn again. And all that will be done in the first semester. And the not so sexy bread and butter topics like, marketing, fundraising, and financing and all that, like the stuff you have to know to then in the second semester, there is our specialized knowledge where it's all focused on CSI and NGO management, and the people then write a social business plan, which is pretty neat because you group up, you write a proper business plan. You can go to every professor and say, hey, you're the controlling guy. Look at our controlling concept. Do you think that's feasible? And then they hand in their own proper business plan for social business. And in the past, it happened that people, heard about it. And then even the one year was a pretty good year because the mayor's office approached our students and started implementing 2 of their business ideas. So that was pretty neat. Yeah, I already mentioned that. Weekend classes, Fridays, Saturdays, and what I forgot, there's 1 week, what we call the welcome week, where you would have to sacrifice some vacation days because, as I said, level playing field, everyone comes from a different direction, and then, also to create some form of school spirit, and it can't hurt to meet your fellow students on campus for a week. I also already mentioned part-time, full-time. Part-time also simply means that you skip every other module, meaning you do the 3 seminars for the 1 module of, let's say, general management 1. And then when your fellow students would come in the next 2 consecutive weekends, you would stay at home because you don't take GM2, general management 2, but do that then the next year. So therefore, it would be spread out to 5 semesters. This is what you have to bring to the table if you want to apply. You need a university degree equivalent to a German or European bachelor. You need 1 year postgraduate work experience. And unfortunately, for those countries who do like national service, unfortunately, that does not count. You need English proficiency and proof of sufficient funds. This is, we don't need necessarily a bank statement, but just awareness that, an MBA does come with a price tag, and living in Bonn, even though it's a tiny city, is, and generally speaking, Germany and an European average is also kind of okay, but Bonn, Cologne, Bonn area is a little more pricey than it should be, but we still got May. So for the people who would need a visa, last day of May is our deadline, and for everyone who doesn't need a visa for the Schengen area, it's June. So do apply. The application process is very nicely with pictograms laid out on our website for those who want to browse. And you upload your documents. Then there's a vetting process, like a very formal one, and then there's a telephone interview. Because as we said, or I said, there is we are a rather small group. Yeah, we hover around 20 people each year, representing 14 different countries. So we'd like to talk to the people to find out what's that person behind the documents, because the CV is nice, letter of motivation is nice, but during a telephone conversation or video conversation, you see if that person, if the intrinsic motivation is okay, and if the fit would be good in the classroom. Yeah, that's our tuition fee, roughly 15,000. Doesn't matter if you're taking the 3 or the 5 semester route. There is a semester contribution every student in Northern Rhine-Westphalia has to pay of about 300 euros. So if the 15,000 have to be paid before you start your 3rd semester, and anything after that, just the fee to maintaining your student status. And this is how that looks. Oh yeah, and very important, it's an all-inclusive package. Yeah, you don't have to pay money for books or what have you, any course material. That's all included. Well, those are our cooperation partners because, as I said, we got 50-50 lecturers from practice and academia, and even those active in academia or primarily active in academia have a lovely network. That's always nice because theory is nice and necessary, but tell me how it works in the real world is a question that will inevitably come. And then it's nice to have people who can actually answer. And this is one of the things which are super nice, to have people with connections. We have one of our professors, she worked in the Federal Ministry of Economic Development. She created a lovely extracurricular activity, always happening in the last parliamentary session week before the summer break. So when Berlin is at buzz, because like everyone before the holidays, you want to get your desk clean and free from work. So Berlin is, like the government district in Berlin is fun to be around. It's stressful, but fun. And so we took, before COVID, every year people from our program to Berlin for a week. And then we talked to parliamentarians, we talked to people working in ministries, we worked with influencers, NGO lobbyists, but also lobbyists from the, let's say, traditional economic sphere. And just to see how, here's the title, lobby and advocacy works in a capital, but of course with focus on NGOs. And it's super interesting and lovely stories. And and it's just nice to see, because you meet ministers and all that. And once we wave to the Chancellor Merkel, it's fun. This is back in Bonn. The person from your side, the right-hand side, is one of our former students. As I said, when everything moved from Bonn to Berlin, the UN moved to Bonn. So that means there is plenty of international opportunity here. As in the previous MBA program, everything's in English. You don't necessarily need German. Of course, it's better when you're in a country to learn something, but as a fully enrolled student of the MBA program and therefore of the university, you would, of course, have free access to all departments, including the language department. And this is also what students do, learn German as a foreign language. But the UN jobs, at least 70% of them, you can get without any German knowledge. And there was a festival of ideas where a bunch of international students started working for the UN. And then eventually, the student in the lower right corner, she stayed at the UN and is now working at the UN after having studied our MBA in CSI and NGO management, even though as a political scientist, I have to state the fact that the UN is not an NGO. And what's the difference? Thanks that you asked. Come to our MBA program and learn the difference. And last but not least, this is what I already mentioned, the social business. And that one particular good year was that year where people won money for it. And then came the publicity, and then came someone from the city of Bonn, from the mayor's office, and asked, hey, I read in the paper, you got nice business plans. Can we work on that, implementing them? And yeah, that's a pretty, and here upper right corner, the lady from the previous slide, from Morocco originally. So yeah, when you're busy and take advantage of all the opportunities presented here, it can work out pretty well. Yeah, and this is roughly what you can do with that MBA. And it really differs. Some people go back to their previous country because original country of origin, that's the way, sorry, because they had a plan of like, go to Germany, learn a little bit, come back and work in my community. Some people stay here. And I mean, the world is your oyster. Do what you can in the MBA, because some people say, hey, I'm just here for the MBA. Or in the end, they say it's better to have a diploma where it says MBA. Other people say the NGO and CSR part was great. Again, it's one of the benefits of having an MBA with a specialization, because you can utilize it in various ways. Okay, and if you like to know a little bit more about our alumni, also check out our website, and we also can be found on LinkedIn. And I'm almost done here. The gentleman, let's start with Mr. Romain Patrick van Staden. He's from South Africa, a graduate, and his peer on global development. It's kind of like an consulting for NGOs, and he's not only is he a graduate of our MBA program, he's also poaching other MBA graduates from batches after his own, and said, okay, where you're from, what's your specialization? Okay, come work for me. So it's kind of like a self-filling thing. And now one of the new students in this current batch is an employee of his, and he said, you know what, do this MBA, will be good for you. The lady, the blonde lady, Lara Jurgen-König, is Croatian, and she is worked at EY, risk assessment and all that, and she also then ended up being a lecturer here for a class about that very topic. Miss Olga Florentina Schneider, she is Russian-Indonesian, stayed here in Germany, is working now for Ovado. And Mr. David Elema, he is dove totally into the CSR part and is now doing anything green and CSR for Deutsche Post DHL, one of the biggest logistics companies in the world. So you can see it's NGO or academia or the regular stuff. It's all possible. So that's from my side. I hope I didn't rush. I hope I didn't overextend it. I didn't have a watch on me. So yeah, this is it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you very much, Max. It was perfectly fine with all the interesting information provided. Thank you very much for that. And I would say that we can now jump into the live Q&A because we have still time left. And I would also invite Eva to turn on camera. Thank you, Eva. So let me start with some questions which are more, directed to both of you, actually. There were lots of questions regarding career perspectives. I will not ask this question because both of you already touched upon it quite extensively, and Eva also already provided some answers there. So I will skip this question, and I will move into the background question because it also popped up quite a lot of times, and I would like to ask you once again. Do you have any restrictions when it comes to the background of the student? I mean, for example, if the student had a bachelor in language, let's say, would be a problem to continue with your program, or you are more like a non-consecutive type? Let's start with Eva in this case and then move to Max.
Yes, so we accept students with all bachelor degrees, no matter where they came from. So we really like those experiences bringing into our MBA programs. So we've got architects, engineers, or just really students with more than 20 years of working experience with no bachelor at all. So we also accept that. So we are pleased to have this various field of students.
Great, good to know. And Max?
Yeah, same here. We are non-consecutive, and somewhere it's written in the regulations of, I guess even that's of the state of North Rhine-Westphalia, it has to be relevant to the curriculum or what have you. But since an MBA is so broad, and with our focus NGO and CSR, so we had a lady from Korea, she studied music management, and then we had someone who was an IT guy, so it really, apply.
Great. Thank you very much. Now let's move to another, also general question. It's about the gross point average. So do you have any specific requirement that the student has to have, for example, 2.5 or 3.0 German GPA, or you are also quite flexible in this regard? Let's start with Max.
No. However, it's like when we have the pool of applicants, then of course we compile a list. So how is also sometimes even the ranking of the university where the first degree was given out, then what's the grade, and then we have a look at all like the entire pool of applicants, and then somewhere we have to draw the line. But I have to admit that for the most part, not for the most part, but like heavily the interview and the communication beforehand. On average, it's almost a year from first contact, like, hey, I'd like to, and till they're in the end actually here. So there has been lots of conversations, and so sometimes we admit people whose grades aren't that good, but the rest was great, like the intrinsic motivation, what they're doing right now, where they want to go. So it's a no, however answer from me.
Thank you very much. Eva?
Yeah, we focus on our oral interviews, and then we decide, if the motivation is really high, and like Max said, intrinsic motivation is the best to go through the MBA. And I think if somebody has a lower grade, that doesn't mean that he or she is not motivated. You don't know the reasons for this grades in the past. So we really take the time and speak to our prospective students to let us know what was the reason for having, for example, really bad grades.
And that's, if I might add, that's what you said. It might have been a while, sure, grades from 7 years ago, are still grades, but are you still that person, So we all grow, and they are a factor, but not the most important one.
Yeah, fair enough. Actually, I like approach of both of you that draw up, because it's quite fair enough, because you never know why this grade is like this or like that, and there's some more important things to take into account. I totally agree with you. Thank you very much. Okay, now I have 2 questions, but separate for each of you. So let me start with Eva. Despite the fact that you addressed already this question, I think it's really good to know also for the others, because there was one question regarding, okay, this is an online program, but can I, for example, when I graduate, can I come and stay in Germany or work in Germany? And you provided also a really clear answer, but I would like to also you to voice it for others, because it's really important to know.
Yeah, so after having this MBA degree, you can always have this job seeker visa, which is quite great for the students or for alumni, I think, because then you've got really the opportunity to have a look on the job market and to apply in Germany. You know, you stay in Germany and then you can apply in those companies. So I think that's really great in having this opportunity. Sorry. Graduation.
Great. Thank you very much, Eva. And now question to Max. There was a person who wanted to know if there are any kind of scholarship opportunities from your side. Because you were expecting this question.
Yeah. It's one of the, and I mean, I get it. It's I mean, I'm also a very huge fan of that. Education should not cost a dime, because we all do better when we all do better, and education is key. But yeah, it's above my pay grade. Yeah, but to answer the question, it's also it's a no, however answer, because no, the university itself doesn't give out scholarships. As I said before, or just now, education usually is kind of free, and therefore giving out money for people. You know, there are other masters out there, so that would be the argumentation. However, on our website, you find a catalog of, it's also in the section where you apply, a catalog of scholarship opportunities. And even though it's a very individual thing to apply for a scholarship, we, of course, when we can, do our best to support. Yeah, but it really differs also what kind of scholarship you're looking for, like a full scholarship or just like a little bit of pocket money or to pay your rent and get the network of the system itself. Then you know, there are state funds, there are faith-based, there are hey, you are from this particular country and we because I don't know, this year is the year we are living in, and we need more people from your country. So it really also depends very much on the person who applies for the scholarship. So we ourselves don't give out one. However, we have a lovely collection of opportunities on our website where we also have a little bit of history with, and so whenever we can support, we do.
Great, thanks a lot. And I just in case, I also shared the general scholarship opportunities article, which you can find also at MyGU, which are not connected to any university, but there are some opportunities in general, like DAD scholarships, for example, which are quite popular among for international students. So you can find them all there. Also, all right, and you can see in the chat. So Nino also shared some links. So take a look at the chat. All right, so this is the questions that I had, but I also have received two questions actually. Let me address these ones also in the chat. So one is, I think, for Eva. So okay, my name is Michael. So I'd like to ask Eva about the master's in innovation management coming from a university in Nigeria, having studied computer science. What are the requirements of master's in innovation management? Is it taught in English? And would I need a German certificate? And scholarship also is asked. So there are several questions here, but we can wrap them up. So yeah, what are the requirements? English, whether it's English, whether they need German, and there are any scholarship opportunities in this case also.
Did I understand that correct, that you are asking for the Master Innovation Management, yeah?
Yes.
Because this program is in German language, unfortunately.
Okay.
So you have to switch to international business management, you know.
Good point. Yeah. Thank you. So thank you for the answer. And now another question, and the last, I think, for today is, hi, I want to know how is the job opportunities outside Germany, like other EU countries or the USA. So you mean that if you finish one of these two programs, what would be your job opportunities outside Germany? I think this is the question. Who would you like to start to address this question?
Go ahead, Max, first.
I mean, this is, of course, kind of hard to predict what you are going to do in your respective country or anywhere else with our degree. What I can tell you is that we have, and again, check out our alumni page, lovely examples of people who went either back to their respective home country or ended up in a totally different country and said, here, I got an MBA from a German university, and plus I got this numerous experiences and knowledge as well, so do hire me. And it works. So I'm not really sure how to answer that question because I can only say that there are pretty good examples of what you can do when you have an MBA from Germany in your pocket. And but in the end, it's what you make out of it. But and also what Eva already mentioned, there's always this job seeker visa, so it's not even so pressuring because you have an additional 1.5 years to travel around Germany and Europe to find jobs. So that's a good starting point.
Yeah, maybe one sentence from my side. I really recommend also students to get this networking done, with other students. To just take, for example, LinkedIn, do network, because all our students are working full-time in companies, and so we've got quite a lot of examples where it matches and you really find a job, for example, from your fellow students somewhere there. So I think that's a great opportunity for those international programs. So go for this networking.
Yeah, good advice. Thank you. Yeah, and this person just added that he or she meant based on your alumni, but actually you also, both of you, addressed this. It is quite a broad question, difficult to answer also, like really specifically, but from my side as well, like as long as you have an MBA from German university, you'll do fine. So it's going to be fine. All right, so yeah, you're welcome. Let me call it then a day. I will just quickly share the last slide, almost last slide I have, just to say thank you to everyone who joined us, who attended the webinar, and of course to our great speakers who provided really valuable information, and for all your comprehensive answers to the questions from to-be students. And I hope that some of them, at least, you will see their applications in the upcoming future. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'm now addressing our participants. If you have any follow-up questions to our guests, please feel free to email them because they all shared with you contact details. And if you have any question to us generally about studying in Germany, some questions about generally visa, generally scholarships, etc., feel free also to text us. We are also very kind. We also will get back to you as soon as possible. So yes, and I think I already added, if I have not done it yet, but here is our email in the chat just in case. And yeah, I also shared direct links where you can leave us feedback regarding today's webinar, and I always read the feedbacks and I react accordingly to improve them in the future if there are any concerns. So I will stop here. Once again, thank you very much, everyone, and have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.